Hello, my name is Elijah Burwell, and this is my final project presentation. I'll start out with the demonstration with editing the SMB files. Shouldn't take but just a second. Now I know I'm starting this demonstration a little backwards, but I've been having some issues with this where I lose control of my mouse after a certain amount of time, so I figured we'll start with this one just to be sure. So you can see this is the engineering, and this is the SMW server, or file share. And you can see that Emily was logged in when we logged in. I'm going to change the project plan to project plan B. We'll delete it. And there we go. We modified and edited a file. Let's undo that. Can we undo? Cannot. But it was successful editing. So, there's that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to the first part of the demonstration now, and we will migrate our Windows 10 VM. As you can see, we are at 85. And we're going to try to get to 84. So we're going to migrate. And put it on 84. You can see the progress of the migration. And now you can see that Windows 10 is now using the other host. So our next thing is to check out our web server. So we'll just remove these and start over because alright, so let's do let's add a date. There it is, works, it's functional. Now we need to make sure our load balancer is load balancing. There's the IP address so we can see 191. We'll refresh just to make sure it keeps things and isn't switching around. On my load balancer, you can see the changes should reflect. And then, to load balance, it should switch between 191 and 53. 191, 53. That's it for the demonstration, and I will proceed to the more informational aspect of the presentation. So, to briefly explain the VM environment, the purpose of each component, starting with the ESXi hosts, provides the physical hardware to run the virtual machines. Our vCenter server allows the management of other virtual machines on the host of the vCenter. And the virtual machines, they mimic physical computers. The Sphere client allows communication to the vCenter via web page. There's a couple roles of the FreeNAS and the Windows storage servers. They're very similar, but FreeNAS helps share storage with my ESXi hosts, which was very critical to the project. And the Windows storage servers are similar to FreeNAS, but more direct, as in folder management using the shares that we did with the engineering on the SMB server. Alright, and so next, the purpose of each network is there was three major ones: management network, vMotion, storage. Starting with management network, this allows the ESXi to communicate with vCenter. And the vMotion network allows migration, which we just demonstrated, works. And then finally, the storage network provides the ability to connect to shared storage between virtual machines. How does this all fit together? Well, ESXi hosts provide the hardware and the power to vCenter, which actually, and then in vCenter you manage the virtual machines and various settings. vSphere is what allows these two to talk. And the FreeNAS and the storage allow for shared storage systems, just in different ways. Along with the storage network actually allowing it to connect. The last thing is that vMotion allows for migration of VMs to the two ESXi servers, which was all part of what we did. The AWS environment was a little bit more simple, I feel, and more compact. Instances were just basically virtual servers. The AMI is just a template of a operating system. The security group acts as a firewall. The load balancer spreads out network traffic evenly. And finally, the key pair. That allows for me to connect to the Linux instances in using SSH, using the encrypted key that I created, and PuTTY, which was to decrypt it. Finally, my AWS environment, the roles of each instance. So there was 4, which is the Bastion, which acted as the gatehouse, so I had to go into SSH and go to that first, and then go to my Linux. And then the database is basically the central brain. It has all the data, receiving, sending, and various other operations. Very, it's the database. Web 1 and 2, they host the WebLook applications using the code that was provided to us. And that was how we did our demonstration with the date modification. The purpose of each network. So the VPC network is the overall big network boundary. The public subnet is within this VPC network, is with the private. And public just means that it's publicly accessible. Like I could go on my computer and access it, even if I don't, have the means. With the password, security, all the stuff like you would need for the private subnet to get it. How does this all fit together? Well, essentially, the VPC network is what allows the big connection and limitations. And so what we did is we just refined it and made some subnets specifically to tailor to our virtual machines that we created. And then, the database allows all of this stuff to process together, because it's kind of like almost like a CPU, right, on a computer. It's a process. It processes all the information. But obviously it's more than that. It's critical for the instances to share data. And finally, the web instances allowed me to visit a public page when it's using the private IP. It will be restricted, which is why we had to go into SSH and make some modifications. And so, to wrap things up, why would an organization build a VMware cluster similar to the one in the project? Well, if I had a bigger game company than the one I do now, I would use it for testing. Because, to be honest, I've nearly broken my PC using various game engines. And not everybody can use the software on their computer, or maybe they're stuck with a little laptop, and these virtual servers allow you to do a lot of testing, even if it's just a document for your company. So why would an organization build an AWS environment? Well, one major benefit a company has from using AWS is not requiring all this physical equipment. It's expensive, and you have to pay people to maintain it. All that's nonsense. And so sometimes it is better just if you have more money and less workers, maybe AWS could work as long as you can afford it. It also scales very well. I think it's very efficient for companies. And then why would a company want cloud and on-premise infrastructure? Well, it's because sometimes companies can't upgrade the entire system, and so they have to gradually evolve. Evolution takes time, just like anything, right? And so being able to slowly upgrade your equipment is sometimes, the best solution, the hybrid environment. And so I think that it's an excellent way to save time and money. Thank you for tuning into this presentation, and I think you guys have a wonderful day.